A vision for inclusion. We're getting ready to head to Parliament with Shamla inside Unique, Not Different.
Parliament. Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unique Not Different with me, Shamla. And thanks, Robert, for that introduction. We are not in Parliament, but we are in TTT. So I have Mr. Kenneth Surrat, who is the Executive Officer of the Blind Welfare Association. So recently, social blind and visually impaired are making, impact. We recently, in the opening of Parliament, we saw that there was a blind senator who is appointed. And now Mr. Surrat is calling for, given the laptop distribution, he's calling for more inclusive distribution. So he's here today to talk about all these things that is going on in terms of the disability community. So good morning, Mr. Surrat. How are you doing?
Good morning, Shamla. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And I am excited. It's a beautiful day, and we are alive. I'm excited, and new things are happening for persons with disabilities.
Definitely. So how do you see the historic moment influencing public perception of persons with disability? When I mean historic moment, having the first blind visually impaired senator in our parliament.
I am so excited because this reminded me years ago when East Indian women couldn't go to school. And Daddy Sagan Maharaj introduced school for black women on the whole, East Indian women. And we see the result of that today, where for a second time, an East Indian woman of background is the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And to have for the first time, not only someone who is blind, but a woman, we broke two glass ceilings in the parliament. I'm almost certain representing the interests not of only persons who are blind, but of all persons with disabilities in Trinidad and Tobago. This is an exciting moment, and we are following, Jamaica had Floyd Morris years ago as a senator. Also, Kerry Eiffel in Barbados was the president of the Senate in Barbados. So we in Trinidad and Tobago, better late than never, but we are joining an elite group of having persons with disabilities, and in particular, someone who is blind in the Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Definitely, and that's great. Others could see and I guess be inspired that they too can do it. In what ways can the Senate now better address policies that affect the lives of persons with disability?
Okay, I would say, let us take it back. The mere fact we have someone with a disability, previously we had persons with a physical disability. This time we have someone with a visual impairment or someone who is blind in the Senate. So that brings to the parliament a different kind of accessibility. Not everybody with a disability needs around that kind of accessibility. Persons who are blind need a different type of accessibility. We need access to information. We are working with the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. If Senator Lalit needs any assistance, the blind welfare is here to work alongside the Parliament and with herself if they need anything in an accessible format. So our need for accessibility is totally different. I'm almost certain Mr. Wade Mark, as the President of the Senate, will ensure that Ms. Lalit catches the eye of the Speaker, or the Speaker catches the eye of Ms. Alicia Lalit to make her presentation.
No pun intended.
Yes.
Right. So you recently, I saw you made headlines in terms of the laptop distribution that is happening in September, right? And you call for a more inclusive or uninclusive distribution. Can you tell us about the thinking behind this and the impact that you want this distribution to have, I guess, within the school system that will impact or affect persons, students who are blind and visually impaired?
First of all, I want to congratulate Ms. Kamla Prasad-Wisesa on a massive victory at the polls and wish her all the best for the next 5 years, because once the government succeeds, Trinidad and Tobago will succeed. And I was so happy last week, Thursday, and the money campaign trail to get laptop back in the hands of children across the board. And what I love about your statement, no means test, because means test is subjective. She said every child will get a laptop in secondary school. And we at the Blind Welfare Association is articulating a position that these laptops must come with accessibility features for persons who are blind. And I just also want to use this opportunity, not only for the blind, but across the board for all children with disabilities.
Yeah.
So what do we mean by accessibility for persons children who are blind? We want to ensure that we have text-to-speech software on these devices because that text-to-speech software is very expensive, nearly $800 for one. That's the high-end. So we want to ensure that they have the text-to-speech software on these laptops so our children who are blind could access it. Also, we want screen magnification because not every child who is blind cannot see at all. We have.
All right, Mr. Surrat, sorry to interrupt. We're just going to have to pause a little bit. We're having some technical challenges, but we're definitely going to get back into that conversation. Very, very important one. We're talking about vision for inclusion, but of course, we got to the point of the conversation where we're talking about the laptops that the Prime Minister has promised for all students, who they make it available for all. And she said, if you want it, take it. If you don't want it, make sure identify. But one of the things that Mr. Surrat was just talking about there is in terms of making sure that not only are the laptops available, but that they have the facility to be able to support those who may need different services.
Yeah, something that is critical, especially, I mean, in this day and age, digital equity. And yes, the software is available, but one of the things that he would have just mentioned is the cost. I think he said about $800.
But what's interesting though is that a lot of the laptops now come with some of that stuff built into the laptop, so you don't need to get any additional software. Like some of it you might need to get for maybe the read along, the text-to-speech kind of activity. But in terms of the magnification, like he was talking about, in terms of those for hearing impaired, we're going to get back into the conversation because Shamla is back online now and we should have everything in a gear. We're hoping that the technical problems have been sorted out. Shamla, you there with us?
Yes, I am. I am here.
All right,
So
beautiful. I hand it back over to you.
So we were talking about technology, and obviously technology, we do get issues. So sorry about that. So Mr. Surrat, you were talking about, the impact of having equitable distribution. So do you think that it would be better to have a more collaborative effort, in terms of with the Ministry of Education and the Trinidad and Tobago Blind Welfare to have specific needs met rather than
Okay, so text-to-speech software, while some laptop comes with it, but it is not robust, like say specific text-to-speech software that is designed for persons who are blind. So we are just like say job access for Windows or NVDA. We are also talking screen magnification. Yes, the computer may have it, but we need a little high-end one because not everybody could read black and white background. Yes, you could change the font size. There's another group of persons who are low vision who need color contrast. Not everybody can read black and white background, so that person will come in, either read red on yellow background or green, whatever color they choose, they could change the color contrast. There's a new group that is very, 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 very small, the deaf-blind. People might remember Helen Keller. And to get Braille was very bulky long time. Nowadays, Braille is coming in a digital format. So I have a Braille display in my office, very expensive, $20,000 I pay for it. Anything on my computer screen, it pops up pins under my fingertips so I can read Braille. We want to put Braille in the hands of children who are blind because it's the only way a child who is blind could become literate by reading the real word, because you could read anything on your screen in Braille in real time. Let us say a long time, Oxford Dictionary was 16 Braille volumes. No way a child could take that to school. Now that the government is even considering digital books, once that is in a digital format, we at the Blind Welfare Association want to ensure that persons who are blind have access to those books in an accessible format. We have books in .pdf format, .doc. We are saying make sure those books are digitized in a way for .brf format or .brl format. So the child who is blind could read Braille in real time. Imagine a child going to school on a bus or a vehicle. They could drag out the refreshable Braille display and do the revision on the move. So we believe in that inclusive arrangement because once a child who is blind have an education, then we could move towards employment. And once we have employment, we could reduce disability gap. Children who are blind, when they become adults, could contribute to GDP, contribute to the happiness index. Because we as blind persons, we want to enjoy the finer things in life. We want to travel. thank God for the Blind Welfare Association. I was able to travel all over the world, contributing, learning how persons who are blind in the real world, accessing the world through inclusion.
That's excellent. In terms of sense, because your conversation that you just had, right? You spoke about yes, so what came out is that there's a need for sensitization from a government level as well as a institution level in terms of school, right? I know recently Karen Gunness, with the Blind Welfare Association, talked about having sensitization program. What impact is that having in terms of not only impact, but I guess a person's willing to have these sensitization program, especially in schools and stuff?
Just some years ago, the United Nations, in partnership with all the stakeholders in Trinidad, we had a situation analysis in Trinidad and Tobago. And one of the big ticket items came out of that was attitudinal barriers. I'm in this business about 35 years and I am seeing changes. It's slowly, but it is happening. And once we lift expectation, we could change the lives of persons, not with a disability, or I'll say blind alone, but all disabilities. And let us go back. The appointment of Ms. Alicia Laddie by Her Excellency, Ms. Christine Kangaloo to the Senate, that alone should lift the expectation of persons or parents out there who may have a blind child or may have a child with a disability. Your child could be just like Ms. Alicia Lally or any other position. They don't necessarily have to be in the Senate. So now I'm calling upon the major political parties, the UNC and the PNM. The time has come. Please have someone with a disability in your party advocating for persons with disabilities, because persons with disabilities are the largest minority group in the country. And nowadays, you can't depend on one group or segment to win an election. You need all on board. And we are saying, invite us to the table so that we could contribute. And we probably, down the road, the PNM and the UNC could have someone with a disability in the Senate and maybe contest the electoral politics.
So to close up, can you give us the contact information for the Trinidad and Tobago Blind Welfare Association?
You can reach the Trinidad and Tobago Blind Welfare Association. Anybody who's blind or you want any information, you can email us at ttbwa1914@gmail.com, or you can WhatsApp us at 395-330-86. I repeat, 395-3086.
Mr. Surrat, I want to say thank you so much for always showing your support. Since the inception of this segment, you've always showed your support. So thank you so much.
You're welcome all the time, Shamla. Good work, keep it up, and we will break barriers, we'll lift expectation.
Definitely. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to this week's segment of Unique Not Different, as we always say. And I hope to close off by saying, be good, do good. Until next week. Bye, everyone.